Now, today, let's come back to the revision. And first of all, Happy New Year. I wish that all of you, all the participants today will have very successful 2025, including passing all the exams in SIP qualification. Okay, good luck with that. So let's prepare for March exam series. And today, it marks the first event for 2025, and we devote this event to FM2 about a few key topics that you need to know before you sit the exam. So today we shall also have a small engagement game. We shall have a few questions, and if you answer them correctly, then you may have a chance to receive our reward. But before that, let's review the key topics in FM2. So you can see that the list topic is well presented on the screen at the bottom. Okay, so today we shall review on the cost and price, budget and cash flow, industry analysis, like the feature of few industry, the tools like the Porter 5 process, specification, the type specification, and specification improvement. All right, so they are the key topics that we shall review. And at the end, then we have 8 questions, and we shall see that if you can answer all of them. Okay, so first, let's review what will be important in FM2. According to my experience and from student feedback, then many questions from FM2 are about, actually most questions are about specification and related topic. But we also have very common question on cost and price. And these kind of questions tend to be very basic, especially on classifying a few type of costs, like the difference between direct, indirect costs, and fixed as well as variable costs. With the cost and price analysis, then first we need to know the basic breakdown of the cost. We have the direct and indirect costs. So direct costs are the costs that associate with the end product directly, like the material or the direct labor cost. And indirect costs are related to the other one, the rest of the cost, like administration and overhead. On other hand, we can categorize them into fixed and variable. So fixed costs are static. Fixed costs are stated regardless of the output, regardless of the production level. But variable costs are they change according to the they change according to the output. So the basic question here could be like, you need to distinguish between, or you need to select the what are direct or indirect costs in certain question. And more importantly, with this area, then you need to know about like how to analyze the cost and price. Price is quite straightforward to compare or to analyze. We just need to compare the price from one supplier to another. We can just compare from one supplier to another. That is already price analysis. But with cost analysis, then we need to analyze the breakdown, and we need to know what will be what are the structure, what is the structure of the cost, and what could be the fair price for this certain product. So there are many ways to analyze the cost and the price. And in the study guide, you can see that they are very like I think this one is pretty complex table about, or matrix about the different cost and price analysis. We could have the open loop costing or the whole life cycle cost, the whole life cost. where we analyze the different elements in the useful life of an asset. But we could have more simple method like competitive bids or price analysis or price index. Simply just compare the price that the supplier submitted with other benchmark. And with cost analysis, then we would have the should cost analysis or the cost analysis or cost breakdown, where we look at their cost structure and how to improve them. All right, so for this one, then the typical question would be about like what are direct or what are indirect costs in certain area or in certain industry. Very straightforward, and but you need to know how to analyze the question there and how to analyze the answer. The second topic is about the cash flow and budget. With the cash flow, then you need to know what are the what can create the inflow and outflow, and what could impact on the cash flow. So cash flow is like the lifeblood of a business. So we need to generate the positive cash flow in the long run. And the cash flow could be generated from sale, like we may collect the money from the customer, but the sale alone is not generating the cash flow. We could have some customer who may want to have the um, to buy on credit, but they may want to delay the payment very long. So the revenue alone or the sale alone could not ensure that you have positive cash flow, but you need to speed up the collection. We also have the cash flow from investment or receive some support from the bank. On other hand, then the outflow may be generated from the payment to the supplier or from the wages that you pay to the uh, employees and the tax as well. So to survive as a business and to generate the positive cash flow, we need to have larger inflow and smaller outflow. To do that, then you need to speed up collection and delay as long as possible with the payment. So with the cash flow, then to improve that, you need to like, we have a few ways like to improve your inventory measurement, because a lot of cash and a lot of liquidity is tied into inventory. So we need to manage that more effectively. Second, then we may need to speed up the collection from the customer, like just like shorten down or shorten their payment period from 45 days to 30 days, or may use some other ways of getting the credit like factoring. And we may delay the payment to the supplier or to the employee or use the same way. So with the cash flow, then as procurement professional, then you need to advise your company to improve the cash flow. And with this error, then the question could be like, what could have the positive or negative impact on cash flow? And also with this first chapter, oh, sorry, I see that someone draw on my screen, so I need to remove that. Right, that's better. Also, in this area, we also have a few other topics like about the budget. Budget is about how we plan for our finance and especially for income and expense. And the plan could be made in different ways. Unfortunately, in study guide, they don't introduce very well. And they often miss some very basic knowledge about how to make a budget. So here, I'm introducing a few ways to make a budget, including the incremental budget, where we take the number or the statistic from the previous year to this year and add a few percentage to on top to have some adjustment. Or we could be more flexible and adopt the zero-based budget where we plan what kind of activities will be done next year, and we build the budget accordingly. And finally, we have a very flexible budget that is rolling. So with rolling, then the objective here is to have always to have like a period of time ahead, like 12 months or 18 months. Okay, so after I may set the budget for 2025, and then after the first month of 2025, I also want to have always 12 months ahead. So I add the January of 2026 to my budget. So rolling. We always expand the budget, expand the period. Okay, so that we always plan ahead, and that could be a very good way to be to work. And another important topic for this one is about the variance. Variance is the difference between the budget and the actual expense. So we rarely do something with we rarely make the budget with 100% of accuracy. So variance is like very natural, and therefore when we have variance, it is absolutely normal, but we also need to keep them managed. When some variance arise, then we need to manage them by addressing addressing our spend and expand, and also to adjust the activities accordingly. If the activity is quite over the budget, then we need to address that and find the root cause for the variance. So with variance, then the more important thing is not the variance, but the reasons of variance. To facilitate the measurement of variance, then they divide variance into three types. We could have the direct spend variance, where the variance could arise from either unit price. We could have different unit price from the time of budget to the time of payment. Okay, so that may cause variance. Or we could have the variance in the quantity. We may need to purchase more than what we planned for. There could be variance in labor, where we may have the cost from the rate per hour, or the workers need to work longer hour to finish a certain task, so we need to pay more for labor. Okay, so that is another variance. And for the overhead, then the variance could be from the volume. The more volume, then the overhead per unit could be lower. Or if we need to expand the capacity, then that could mean we need to have higher level of overhead. And finally, then overhead could be changing due to the expenditure, like the landlord may rise the rate for rent. So that could be another variance, another cost for overhead variance. With chapter 2, with learning outcome 2, then we could have a few questions about some certain industry like manufacturing, construction, or finance, and the market analysis tools like the part of five forces or product life cycle. So due to lack of time today, I only planned for 1 hour and leave the room for the question. So we shall look at the features of a few industry and the most important tool here, that is Porter's five forces. With the industry, then in the exam, you may see the question that describes certain industry or certain company, and the requirement is that what could be the industry for what industry is that, or what industry that company belong to. So we need to understand some key features of a few industry like manufacturing or construction and finance, also retails and other branches of industry. For manufacturing, then it is an industry with very high barrier to entry, like it requires a large initial investment, and to be profitable, then they need to reach the economy scale. And the profit margin for this industry is kind of like average, okay, ranging from 5 to 20%, depending on the specific industry. And the manufacturing has some kind of like competitiveness, like it has very very huge pressure to like very huge pressure to improve and innovate it, because some certain industry, certain areas in manufacturing is evolving very fast, like electronics and telecommunication. They tend to evolving very fast, and the competitors in this industry must adapt to the change. Otherwise, then manufacturing also have very complex web of regulation, especially to health and safety. With finance, then they tend to be very profitable sector, with the profit margin from 10 to 25%. And with this sector, then they also have some barrier to entry, but mostly about the regulations and about the liquidity. So finance is quite profitable, but also we need to have some, we need to fulfill some certain requirement to join this one. And for supplier in this area, then they tend to be specialized in certain matter, like in banking or in investment and so on. With construction, then it is kind of like very different from manufacturing, where the profit margin is much thinner, around 6%, or even as low as 2%. So that is very low. And for construction, then the cost for most of the cost would be involving the delivery of the project, like hiring the equipment and the workers for the construction site. In this industry, then they also require significant investment in equipment, material, and labor. And they also require the good and high level of relationship with the customer. So in the exam, you may see a few questions here, like about the industry that have the following characteristic, like low impact or poor impact on the environment, or higher use of casual labor, etc. So that could be the question, and you may see some example later. A very important topic in L4M2 is about the industry analysis, and we may need to use some tools like the Porter's five forces. According to this model, the market is shaped by five forces: the threat of new entrant, the rivalry, bargaining power of buyer and suppliers, and the threat of substitution. So with this model, then all these forces could shape an industry and define the uh, average profitability of the industry. So to be better, then the firm need to adopt certain comparative strategy. And from buyer perspective, then this tool could be used to analyze an industry and understand the behavior of the supplier. Like we need to know what could be our advantage or our power within the industry and use that accordingly. In case that we have weaker power, then we may need to use some substitution or to find substitution by using the outcome or output specification. With the Porter's five forces, then you need to understand a few certain some certain determinants that may affect the balance power of the strength of each force. So this table is, I think it is very useful because it lists all the determinants that you may see that it may take a few pages in the study guide to describe all of them. We have a few determinants like for the threat reaction, then we call the determinants as the barrier to entry. And we have some barrier to entry like the economy of scale or the capital requirement or the regulations or policies. With the bargaining power buyer, then the determinants are the numbers of customer, their size, the difference, or the price sensitivity. So depending on what kind of question you have, then but you need to remember all the determinants here. And I think if you understand them, then they are quite straightforward and they should not be your problem during the exam. With the specification and in chapter 3, we have pretty many questions about different types of specification and how to use them. So the specification is like the document that we use to communicate with the supplier. And we may write them in different manners. We may use the input and with the conformance specification, or we may use the output with the performance specification. So for the specification, you need to know there are certain features and their content as well. For conformance, then we could use the design or the description, technical description, or the standards or the sample to describe them. But with conformance, if you don't know how to write effectively, then they could be defective, and the responsibility of failure would stay with the buyer. For performance, then we could have a few types like outcome, output, functional, or scheduled work. And they tend to be easier to prepare since we only need to prepare the outcome or output. And they also encourage the creativity and innovation from the supplier. Furthermore, they also place the responsibility for failure on supplier. So we can see that performance could have some advantages, but it also has some disadvantages. While in conformance, you can just issue the specification and wait for the submission. And the consideration here is not about the quality anymore, but more about the price and other services. But with performance, after you issue the specification, then they need to submit Then we need to submit their suggestion, and we need to assess whether their suggestion would fit our requirement or not. So both conformance and performance has some advantages and disadvantages. And as a learner, then you need to know what are advantages of these things and apply them accordingly in the question. Okay, we shall see a few examples later. Finally, when we have the specification, we need to improve them. The improvement here could be done through standardization, where we like set up the common ground or common standard for every product. So standardization could help you to cut the costs and reach economy of scale easier, and also support the management. And most importantly, it reduces the variety, especially among the parts of product, so that we can mass produce the thing and easier for management. The improvement could also be done through value analysis and value engineering, where we may have the process of collaboration between procurement and other departments, and then we may analyze the functions of the product and then try to improve them by removing anything that don't contribute to the bottom line. Value analysis and value engineering use largely the similar process, but they differ in manner that value analysis apply to the existing product, where value engineering apply to the new product mostly. So it's the time for us to practice a little bit, and I may we have about 30 minutes for this part. We shall have today I prepared 8 questions, and you will answer them one by one. After each question is shown, then I will let you have a few minutes, like about 2 minutes, and then you can answer them. And then we can record your speed of answer. And the first correct answer will get five points, and the second answer will get 4 points. I mean, I only count the correct answer. So at the end, we summarize the points from participants and publish them accordingly. So we shall see who win this one, who win the game, and reward the prize. So the prize here is quite small, but I think they are very meaningful. You may either choose the lifetime access to one of our tests on Udemy, or other reward like Netflix gift code for your entertainment, or a small top up for your mobile plan. So let's start our game here, and let's see who will be the winner. I think today's questions are quite basic and not too challenging, so I expect that many of you will get high score. So let's see the first question with the cash flow budget. What is the answer here? All right, we shall wait for the answer. I see Paul and Pamela already answer. Yeah, and Ambrose. All of them answer with A. All right, so the majority of the answer here is A. And we only have a deviation, a different opinion from chicken. Reboloke chicken. Okay, that she answered D. All right, so I think it's time to review the answer. Here for this question, first I need to close the question. Okay, so I shall not accept any further answer to this question. For the first question, then it asks about the main purpose of cash flow budget. So as the name suggests, then this is the plan for the cash flow. The budget is just another way to say about a plan. So it's just a plan about the cash flow. And we have four options where you need to select the right combination. um, with these four options, you can see that option number 3 and 4. They say like the statement of the financial position or organizational profitability. They are incorrect. Okay, so the statement of financial position is the balance sheet, and profitability is displayed in the income statement. So they are not related to cash flow or cash flow budget. So the answer must be 1 and 2 or answer A. Congratulations to anyone answer with A. Now, let's start question number 2. Right, this is about the price war. Yeah, and after about a few seconds, then the answer is coming. Right, and so far, all the answer I received here are D, except a few answers that indicate A. All right, so this question is about the price war. Now I need to close this one before I review the answer. So this question is about the price war, where we can see that this is about um, a competitive activity. Price war means a company start to kind of like reduce the price to the bottom, and other companies may follow the suit. They may want to keep their price low and competitive as possible. So the price war is a kind of uh, compet competition in the market. And this competition is, of course, the competitive rivalry as in the Porter's five process model. And the answer here should be D. For price war, then E not a barrier to entry, so A is irrelevant, although the answer must be yes, but A is irrelevant. And with D, then this is They say that the price war is very competitive strategy. That means it could leave everyone at a loss, and it does not have the industry to expand, but just eat up the profitability of everyone. So that is about the price war. Now let us see the third question. Pretty long. This is a scenario where we have the where we need to apply what we know about procurement in a scenario. What could be the most appropriate um, action here? Yeah, so it's pretty long, and people, I think you are taking some time to understand the question. I can still see that Paul is the first one who answered the pay and Paul. Okay, so that is a scenario. And what should be the answer here? What is the most appropriate reaction here? Right. So far I see that there's no deviation from B, and all the questions, all the answers are about B. So let me close this question. So in this question, we can see that there are multiple problems to the current company. First, they have they have a fleet of vehicles, but they are beyond economic repair. So repairing the current vehicle would not be uh, sufficient or economic or make some sense by return. So C is not applicable. Second, right, let me take it back. Right. So second, this company is having some cash flow problem. Therefore, purchasing the vehicle at this time would not be fruitful, and they may need to take very expensive loan. So therefore, if they don't want to have further um, loan and interest payment, then they need to keep their vehicle, and or they may need to do something more operational or short term like leasing. So consider all the factors. We may consider B. And another indicator of leasing here is that they have the customer who want to delay the payment, and they may offer the 5-year contract. So 5-year period is pretty appropriate for a lease. So B is more appropriate. 5 years may be not enough for a purchase, for an outright purchase of new vehicle, but could be long enough for a lease. So be correct, and congratulations. To anyone answer with B. Now, let's move on question number 4. All right, so for this one, we need to decide whether performance is good for certain situation and what will be the reason for selecting performance here. Yeah, the wording could be tricky, so be careful. All right, so I think it's pretty challenging. Therefore, you need some time to analyze them. All right, so far the answer are C. And most people agree with C. Let's see what C. Okay, so for this question, it asks about the advantages of performance. So you decide it should be C. But there are a few um, answers from Peace and Guesima that have some different opinion. They select A instead of C. All right, so I think it's time to review the answer. Let's start. Let's close the question first. Okay, so after I close the question, I accept any answer behind that. After that is not counted when we measure the performance. So for this question, then of course the answer is C. Here, obviously, the question intend to ask you about the advantages of performance spec, and we have one of the greatest advantages of performance is that they place the responsibility on the supplier. Therefore, the supplier must deliver the solution that fit with our output or outcome. I see that some students answer with A, but A is not applicable here because performance sometimes it could be quite ambiguous and not it doesn't offer comprehensive because it provide no detailed instruction for the supplement. So the better answer should be C. Now let's look at question number 5, where you need to select two answers. Okay, question number 5. I can see that most of the answer are B and D. And I need to say, Hafiz, if you want to join this competition, then you need to answer directly to the message, not reply to my message. Because by the way you answer to the chat, then I can measure how quick you answer this. So answer directly, reply to my not reply to my message, right? Okay, so the majority are B and D. Now let's see. Obviously, when we talk about direct, then they should be the costs are associated with the end product. So for furniture, yeah, for a furniture company, then first thing, they need to purchase the material like wood and leather for the production, and then the wages for the line worker or the direct labor. So should be B and D. Should be B and D. A is for overhead, office accountant. C is also an overhead for electricity, and E is an overhead for marketing. Now, let's see question C. Okay, so again, about the specification and about outcome and output. Uh, the question is, why should we use that? What could be the advantages of using outcome or output specification? When the question doesn't indicate, then obviously we only select one answer. So two answers are invalid. I see that most of the earlier answer are B, but then people maybe sometimes divided about C or D or even A. So this question could be a little bit more challenging than the previous one. Now, let me close this before revealing the answer. Okay, so for this question, you can see that they ask specifically about outcome and output specification. And the reason to use these specification is that they introduce a way that allow the supplier to be more creative and innovative about their solutions. They don't indicate specifically any solution yet, but just list the outcome or the results. So this will allow the suppliers to submit and even we may find creative ideas and allow the supplier to be creative and offer more solutions. And that would also expand our supply market and find the substitution. So here, then the option B is correct. Um, if we use output and outcome, we should have more options, not fewer. So C is incorrect. Similarly, D, outcome output should not use any branded product, and that may be skewed toward a certain supplier. And with A, no one writes specification so that they can amend easier. We have the specification and we use that in the contract. That's all. So the best answer here is B. Now, let's move on. Let's move on with question number 7. So far, as I can see from the chat box, the answer could be B or C. So we can ignore A and D, right? But between B and C, I think there is some kind of like some argument, like BC has equal number of participants to answer, and especially the later answer tend to um, skew toward C, not B. All right, let's close this question before I show the answer. For this one, then we have the analysis about the relative power of the main buyers. And second, about the capacity available among the key suppliers. So many would say that industry analysis or demand supply analysis. First, we need to know what is industry analysis. Industry analysis is like what we do, the Porter's 5 forces here. We apply the model and together with the steeple to analyze a certain industry, okay, and the relative power of the buyer and the supplier. And supply and demand analysis is about how strong is the supply and demand and what could be the shift in the price in the future. So with supply and demand analysis, then we analyze the factors that could have impact on supply and demand, like the disposable income, and the availability of substitute or of complementary product, or the availability of technology that could push supply, or the availability of employees, or of workers, of labor, so that the supply could be shifted. So with supply and demand analysis, we tend to focus on those factors, the factors that may have impact on supply and demand, not the factor that may have impact on the power. So with this question, although the the third sentence about capacity of the supplier could be confusing, but it is still about industry analysis. We need to understand how large is this industry and how well the supplier could be supplied. So the answer here should be B. And congratulations to anyone answer with B. When it comes to supply and demand analysis, then it should be about factors that may affect the supply and demand, like disposable income or technology. And now let's move on question number 8. For this time, we have a yes/no question. I think the answer here is pretty obvious. Okay, so I may close question early. It's about cost and benefit analysis, and we obviously do this because we need to see that whether the benefits will outweigh the cost and whether this project should be invested. That is very typical for cost and benefit analysis. All right, so the answer here is B. Jessica, do you keep track with the answer, and could you tell me who is the winner today?
Yes, I will send you the picture to show the winner of today.
Okay, so we shall need to wait for Jessica. She helps me to summarize who wins today.
Daniel, I sent you. Please check your message.
Okay, so for today's question, I can see that the winner is the Payan Po. In total, he scored 29, and I think he gives very great gap between the first and the second one, Rachel. So congratulations, Paul. And if possible, could you please unmute yourself and tell me what will be your what kind of reward would you would like to receive? Hello, Paul. Please unmute and or you can type in the chat what kind of reward you want to receive. It's okay. Please type if you yeah. Please type if you want. What kind of task, or do you want to have some gift code for Netflix or for your mobile top up? Let me show the reward. All right, while we are waiting for Paul, yeah, he's here. Okay, so we have the test from level 4 to level 5. Which test do you prefer? No, I mean specific model. Level 4 is not enough. We only give a specific model. Right. Okay, so we shall give you the lifetime access code for L4M2. Congratulations, Paul. And I think you have done pretty good today, pretty well today. Okay, so it's the end of today's meeting. And if you want to practice more, then we always have the test on Udemy, and you can look for just type in the name of the module, and you can see our test on the top. And if you have further inquiry or question for us, just keep contact with us through email and WhatsApp, as I'm showing on the screen. And for anyone who joined, then we shall send you the recording later, okay, to your registered email. That's why we always ask you to register before start the event. So thank you very much for joining today, and enjoy the rest of Sunday, okay, and also a successful 2025. We are only early in this year, so wish you a very successful 2025. Goodbye and see you later in other events.